So first, just this inside picture, the darker gray, not any of this outside. I went ahead and put a screenshot of what PSE 10 looks like when you first open it on the screen. It has a lot of similarities to Photoshop, and it has a lot of differences. PSE is different in a lot of ways also. The locations of things are different. I do not have PSE on my computer anymore. If you have specific questions about where things are located in Elements, shoot me an email. I am post on the board. I'll throw together some links for you guys, screenshots showing you different things as well. The effects that you have, um, for Photoshop users, they're going to be up in your filters category, um, instead of here on the right. Layers in here. Why is my brush so big? I just want to point. Layers in here is going to be similar to layers over here. So this is the Photoshop version. This is the PSE version. Your navigator down below. All of these things, I believe, the same as with PSE 7, 8, 9, believe 10, possibly 11 as well, can be rearranged just the same as these. My preference is navigator histogram on top, adjustments, masks, and clones I use, but I don't use over here, so it's kind of irrelevant. So adjustments underneath and then layers at the bottom. The reason I have layers at the bottom is because most of the time I readjust it or I resize them anyway, and I can scroll through them. Project Min, I'd close it if I was. I mean, I would like to see my image as large as possible. So if I was actually editing this image of the screenshot of PSE 10, I'd either make it larger or I'd fit to screen. I wouldn't I wouldn't want all this other stuff all around. I'd want as much of this gone as possible. I'd drag this line over, make it as small as possible on the right side to get the stuff that I needed from it. File, edit image, you have everything up top just like Photoshop does. Your tools are on the left just like Photoshop is. So go from there, guys, and let me know if you have specific questions, specific tools. I'm going to run through the ones that I use most often. So this is just an image I pulled up. It's straight out of camera, no edits except for a resize, which therefore, because of the pure action I use for resizing for Facebook, it adds a border, and I added my name to it since it's gonna go online. Um, I don't use the pointer a whole lot. It's nice to have, but I don't use it a whole lot. Marquees, I use them all the time. Rectangles, ellipse, singles, and rows and columns. I don't use the rows and columns too much. These I use not on every image, but a lot. The lasso, I really like the lasso. I like the regular lasso where I can draw what I want. I right click to deselect for that as well. I also like the polygonal lasso where I can be a little bit more exact when I need to go around a face. Now obviously this is super quick. If I was doing anything, like if I was removing red or anything like that, I would spend a little bit more time, but it's a little bit more exact than my hand is capable of being. Now, I do have an editing tablet. It's not, I'm using a mouse right now. I'm not using the tablet right now. I do have a tablet. I love my tablet, but I have not had the time to sit there and go through everything that it is capable of. So sometimes I revert back to my mouse because it's easier right now while I'm so busy with my 3-month-old that you're seeing in the picture. So one cool thing I really like that I use all the time whenever I lasso anything is the Refine Edge tool up here. A lot of the older versions don't have it, but I love it. Love it. It totally makes upgrading worth it to me. I can feather a lot easier. It's hard to see because, let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm actually doing. Um, can feather what if I was going to apply a blur or something. I can feather it out versus having a straight line. I can readjust where it is. So here's the line. I can readjust, take it further out, further in. So I love the Refine Edge tool. I also like the fact, I think I'm not sure about Elements 9, but you can right click, select inverse. You can also edit select inverse. Well, now it says undo, but image, select inverse. So, and then everything but her face is selected. Right click, deselect. This is your wand tool. Again, I love it. You need to use these top tools if you're going to use it. You can select, like, let's say we want her flower and headband. It's going to be hard because of the white bedding, but it's on the plus tool because I'm adding to it. I clicked and held my mouse down for what I wanted added. Now, oh no, we added her face. I don't want her skin in there. So I'm going to hit the minus tool up here and subtract it back out. Deselect. Crop tool. I love the crop tool for several reasons. Because you can add and adjust, and because you can change out your resolution. When you crop, you need to make sure that you're doing it non-destructively. Well, that being said, you need to make sure that you're not changing the pixels for your print by cropping. So make sure you understand if you're resampling or just getting rid of pixels, or if you are compacting pixels. Eyedropper, I don't use most of these. The biggest and really almost the only one I use on a regular basis for editing a normal image is the eyedropper tool. And in doing so, you have your palette here. If you double click on it, of course it's not going to do that now. If you double click on it, you get your colors up here. You can choose any color you want, foreground, and then your background. You can pick another color. Now let's say you want to match this bear, or you want to I don't know, you want to try to make this line go away. So you need the colors here. It's called color sampling. Drop a dot. Go back to your brush. In this particular case, you'd want a relatively light brush and a soft brush. Right click and bring down your hardness to a soft brush. Or you can, if you're selected on the brush tool, you can come up here and select your brush. These are soft and these are hard. Hard being that the line is very distinct. Soft being that it fades out. I would never do that. By the way, I would never do this on the same layer. But paint over it, and then I'd do one or two swipes, pick a new color, sample another color, sample another color, sample. It takes a while, but it's going to be a lot more accurate, give you a better overall Now, you can do that, or, now here's why I use layers. I just did all that. I don't like it. I'm going to have to sit here and hold down the Z and see how far it'll go back. It'll let me go back in my history. If I had had a layer here, I would have just clicked delete the layer and it would be done. So if you color sample with the eyedropper and a light and then a very opaque brush, you get a lot more accuracy. If you don't use the opaque brush, you go for a super hard brush that you can't see through, your edits are not going to be as subtle. Hello, I can see that that line is gone. Why? Because it made a new line. So, subtle editing is good editing. Or I should say can be. This is your healing brush, spot healing brush and patch tool. I adore it. It's a lot like the clone, but I think it's easier than a clone. So, your spot healing brush, this is not a very good image to try this on. I usually use it on like small pimples. This is not even, this is a resized image, so you can't even really, this is a terrible image to try it on. But, well, let's say we want rid of the O. It's going to sample the colors around it to get rid of the O, like that. So I really like it. Sometimes that doesn't work. Like if I were to do the edge of her mouth. It's not seamless. If you use the healing brush instead of spot healing, it works more like a clone. You hold down your alt brush and you paint over it. Now, of course, I have a super non-hard brush, so it looks as if it's more opaque. It's not, it's just it feathers a lot. But I click several times on it. It'll eventually go away. Now, that doesn't work every time. See how you get these lines? Let me zoom in. Because it's an estimate and because I had a super soft brush, you get these lines. And those lines are from this. Because when I sample, see how I'm basically cloning for purposes now? Don't like it. Now see, I'm having to click my shortcut, undo, Control-Alt-Z on a Windows is undoing all that. Had I used a layer, none of that would have, it would have been done in one click, so it's a lot quicker. Your patch brush is also not a good option for this. But your patch tool is awesome because you lasso what you need gone and you can drag it away. Now in this particular case there's an edging, so it didn't work as well. There's some tinting there that I don't like. I want it more clear, so it's awesome for small blemishes and whatnot. The spot healing brush, I really like that for removing small things. In like if I were to take a portrait of a little girl in the grass and there's a Coke can trash bottle, I'd use the healing brush or spot healing brush. Patch tool, I really like the patch tool for small blemishes and stuff like that. I don't really ever get red eye, so I don't use it a whole lot. If you have taken my shooting raw class, you probably won't get a lot of red eye either. Brushes, I still stick to the brush mostly. You can go online and there's tons of free ones, there's tons of bought ones. You can download tons and tons and tons of brushes. You can also make your own, and we can briefly run over how to make your own if you want to. I have a brush, actually, of my watermark, my old watermark. If so you can have different brushes. Okay, clone tool. Clone works similar to the healing tool. Alt, bam, click. Now, this does not work. You see how now I'm getting a white line through my brush? That's because when I sampled, it pulled in over here. It does take practice to do this efficiently, and you do have to sample from lots of places at lots of different at small intervals. So I can't if I wanted to clone this line out right here, I can't clone here because I like the color and drag it. That's not how the clone works. There is a dot that you can't see. So if I clone here, I'm going to end up with that bear in the picture. See how the bear up here came in? Why? Because as I drag, alright, so I'm holding Alt down, I click with my mouse button to sample, lift it, and now I have a brush. See how it's a little bit off because I sampled from down here? You'd probably want to pull the opacity down for that reason. But when I pull it up, as soon as it hits that bear, it's going to sample the bear. So I'd also want a softer brush, so there's a softer line there. But that's the clone tool. This tool, I never use history brush. Now, some people will swear by using their history. I don't. I really don't. I'm not going to lie. Eraser tool, delete it. If there was a way to take a big X and paint it on your monitor, paint it over it in your head. I'm going to start round 2.